Hello, everyone, and welcome to JKL Media, your podcast where three friends talk about all things pop culture. I am one of your hosts, Jesse Jackson. Joining me, as always, is Karen
Hello.
and Lou.
Hello, everyone.
And let me start out with just saying Enright is a snake.
Oh my God.
Uh, we are talking the first episode of season 3 of The Expanse, Fight or Flight. A very interesting title. I thought that we often hear people under stress have the fight or flight thought, and our crew is going both ways. I thought we'd start out with you, Karen. Any quick thoughts on the episode?
Yeah. I haven't driven in about 10 years. And
I'm
this is
interested to see
going
where this is
somewhere, I
going.
promise.
I was going to say.
Yeah. I haven't sworn as much as I did during this episode at
Oh,
a
okay.
person since before I stopped driving. Not that I was a road rager, but I swore a lot at people. Sean and I were sitting there and he was giggling at me because I hate him so much. And here I'll quote Madeline Kahn, flames at the side of my face, burning, seething. So yeah, I was really mad at him. That's my main takeaway. And I'm also not as much as Erin Wright. He's getting what she deserves at the moment. So yeah, but overall, a really great episode.
Yeah, I think once again, we talked last week when you're streaming and binging, it's sometimes you cannot notice season finales or season premieres. This one started immediately.
Mhm.
And so I thought they just got out of the gate just really strong. Quick thoughts from you, Lou.
Interesting title wording. It's usually flight or fight, not fight
Yeah.
or flight. So I'm curious to get your reads on why they switched it around. And for a season premiere episode, like you said, Jesse, they just jumped right into it, and there's lots of action. And I loved the reversal of the Rocinante crew on deciding where they were going to go. And because all the way through that episode, you felt like Naomi was in the right, but then at the end, Holden pulls it out of the fire, and his answer is, and I think I agree with the Rocinante crew. I think it was the better choice.
Yeah, I think we'll just cut right to that, even though that's the end. But yeah, I think the what's really good about the Rossi crew is, and let's talk about Amos and Alex, right? They they are supportive of their teammates, crewmates, but they also listen to logic, right? They're like, no, we should not do this. Naomi makes a case. I think she makes a damn fine case on why they should go to Tycho with Johnson. It's the best bad decision. And in fact, they use that word better bad idea at
Hmm.
not them, but somewhere else. And that made me smile because I had a boss that I said, my best bad idea is this. And that kind of took away, I'm not telling you this is the master plan. I'm going, if you have a better bad idea, I'm listening. And so they're convinced that's what they're going to do. And Naomi's all happy and, oh, yay, I've got my way. It's right. And then Holden, I didn't care about your kid. And you saved our ass. And we owe you to go look for your kid. And that's what we're going to do now. And both Alex and Amos like, yeah, you're right. F it. We're going. And then Naomi's looking, wait, what happened? So Karen, thoughts?
Yeah, I thought Holden made a stand, which was good. We have mentioned several times over season 2 that that there's going to be some serious fallout there from her actions.
Yeah.
And it's not only what she did at the beginning, but then giving it to Fred behind everyone's back as well. They've had it. Even Amos is
She's not who
not.
I thought I was.
Yep.
She's not the person I
Yep.
thought I was. Yeah.
So Alex lays it out on her. Hey, we all agreed to do this thing and you went behind our back and we're not really inclined to help you with anything. Amos is, hey, no. He's literally just no.
Yeah, we're
Shuts her
gonna head to
down.
where there's good brothels. We can get a gig.
Yep.
We're
Yep.
not a family. We just threw ourselves
Right.
together. I thought that was a great line.
It was a great line because she is not acting like that. She
Hmm.
is still, and that line where is it Holden that says now a lot of people are going to get killed, or Alex, I don't remember.
Alex
Yeah.
said it.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to get killed, and she says, but not belters. And I thought, wow, that is really something else. That is, she got some gall with that, right? They're not supposed to be on a side right now, right? They're on the side of what's right. And for her, that's not her goal. And I feel like that's how she's been acting. And it's 100% right of them to say, you've caused this strife. So it's not like we're gonna be in love with you. We're, that's it. We're done. And I also like that she recognizes it, even from Amos. She finally gets that even Amos is not on board.
Did
And
she
she says,
recognize
look,
it?
I think so. When she said, when you take me to Tycho, you won't have to see me anymore. And
Yeah,
she
which
says
she
it
did.
to Amos and Alex. And I felt like that was the
Oh,
moment that she realized that she doesn't have an ally in Amos anymore.
okay.
So at least that's what I thought from
Yeah, no, I'm
it.
sorry. I thought you were talking about the decision to go to Io,
Oh, no, no.
that she
I
was on board
mean,
with that.
she's not on board with that at
Right.
all.
Yeah, okay.
But no one cares. You
And
know, I
Oh,
like that
she got
too.
outvoted.
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I want to get you in this in a minute, Lou, but I'm thinking of this. Then fine, if you want to go be a belter, go be a
Be a
belter and
belter.
fight for belter. But we're not about that. We're not taking Earth's side. We're not taking Mars's side. We're not taking Belter's side.
Yep.
And
And Holden is being such a stand-up guy because he admits, I didn't care about your kid,
yeah,
but that's what we brought you on board to do, to find
yeah,
your kid.
we used you, and
And
the
he
only
says,
thing we
okay,
didn't do is
yep,
look for your kids. So, we're
right.
going to make this right.
Yeah. And they're going to say, look, we got your back now. You helped us. We got your back. And I love that Alex and Amos are like not paying attention. Naomi is trying to justify going to Tycho, and they're like, no, we're in on
Yeah.
going to Io. They just cut her right off.
Hmm.
And it's really showing that they get that even though Holden has been, as he put it in this episode, tilting at windmills, he's still more trustworthy. And so they're willing to follow his lead. And they're okay with cutting out Naomi because she didn't think about them.
One question, I promise, Lou. I hope we're entertaining you.
Yeah,
Yeah, because we don't know what's coming. Is Holden doing this partly just to piss off Naomi? Or do
Probably.
you think but I think that's just a side benefit.
Yeah, it's a
I think he
tiny
really is
part.
trying it.
Yeah. The conversation he had with Prax after he broke the coffee maker,
Yeah.
which I'm still gutted.
Yeah.
you
Oh
should
my
drink
God.
tea. You should drink tea.
Yeah, you should drink tea. And he has that conversation with Prax, and I think that's what caused him to think, I really haven't done right by this guy.
Yeah.
That's when he decided, You know what? I don't care anymore. I just want to do what's right." And he hasn't changed in that. That's his motivation. I want to do what's right. And even if he gets on off track a little bit, it's still his goal to do what's
Hmm.
right. And so he realizes this is a good guy. And
Yeah.
Naomi has really done terrible things behind our back. So I'd rather help this guy
Yeah.
than go after this horrible. We can't defeat it. That's his whole, he's fatalistic, but also realistic. And I think he's all three at the same time. Fatalistic, realistic, and then idealistic.
Yeah.
But right now he is in the realistic camp where I got to help this guy. He's saying that he's going to have to get used to not having his kid. Let's fix that. I really love the decision he took. And And I liked Naomi. I still do, but there's part of me that went, yeah, you deserve it. You really do deserve it. You've done a terrible thing. And when someone does a thing like that, it's hard to forgive them.
Lou,
Hi.
any thoughts on this scene and our discussions of the storyline?
Yeah, I find it interesting watching it the second time because I can see the levers being pulled behind the curtain a little bit because it's interesting that we've gone through the bulk of the last season with Holden chasing his Moby Dick, and then all of a sudden he's come back to see the light again. And I wonder, I think you may have hit on it indirectly with your question, Jesse, about whether he's just doing it to piss off Naomi, but that was the moment that turned him, is her betrayal.
Yeah,
So there was an emotional factor to his reevaluation of the situation. And it's interesting to see these obsessions ebb and flow. We're not right now, we're seeing Holden coming back to the character that we knew at the beginning of the series.
yeah,
And Naomi's gone off on her Moby Dick adventure. And you can say that's manipulative, or it's how you write dramatic sequences of conflict. You always have to have one character out of their comfort zone or whatever. So I was watching, I was going, this, I can see what the writers are doing here. They're manipulating the characters to heighten the tension of this dramatic moment. But it's done well enough that it doesn't bother me, but it's just that I could see it this time. Whereas before
yeah,
I was just so into the ebb and flow of the characters and the emotions that were going on at the time that I didn't notice it as much. And that's on me not being sufficiently savvy to see that the first time. But I can definitely see the levers being pulled this time watching it, but it doesn't diminish my enjoyment of the scene. This is the Holden that I like the best, that is making moral decisions. Like when Amos told him that one time, he says, "I'm glad I didn't have to kill you because you're always trying to do the right thing." And he says, "Oh, that didn't come out right." I mean, he said, "What I mean is you're a good man." And this is the
yeah,
Holden that I liked from the beginning of the series. It hasn't been around for much of the second season. Now that mantle of not liking as much has fallen on Naomi because of her obsession with the protecting the Belters and giving the proto molecule to Fred Johnson. So it's an interesting dynamic watching it again this way. And I maybe it's a bit on the nose that Holden's talking out loud about tilting at windmills, because that's not something that you normally expect a character to make that kind of self-observation about. Because when it's something is that tightly wound into your persona, that's pretty hard for you to step back and see that in yourself. So again, you might say that's a bit of dramatic license from the writers, but it works. But Prax is a good mirror for all the crew members to reflect themselves back into, because he's Zen. I guess is
yes,
the
Yep.
best way to put it. And I'm not trying to stereotype the character, but he's just very, he has a
He's
very
grounded.
he's very grounded. As a
Yeah.
botanist, he should be, right? Ta-da.
right,
Yep.
But
exactly.
so I just find, and then the name that he came up with for the ship to replace the Rocinante, I like that. The Cortran or whatever it was called, is something
On.
Cortazar. No, that's it sounds the same as a
Yeah.
lot
Yeah,
of the other characters, but it's got something to do with this
this
plant life,
pine, yeah,
pine that has to burn, and then the seeds are released, and that's how it regrows itself. Just a very he's a great mirror for the crew to reflect themselves in, and he's done that with every character so far. Though not as much with Naomi. Maybe that will come because she's
yeah,
just turned the corner into this new obsession that she's got with equalizing the playing field. And of course, the hook that they leave us with is that there's some proto matter still on the Rocinante.
yes, there
Yep.
is.
Some goo.
So
Yeah.
Holden's rationalization that everybody's got it now and there's nothing I can do about it, that works out rather well for where the series is right now in its storytelling.
One of the things that we talked about last week is I thought that Holden needs to get over it,
Mhm.
that because I thought she made a pretty good case, but hearing like Alex talk about, I wanted to give it to Mars. We made a decision and you betrayed all of us. That
Yep.
Yep.
I also love just Amos We're not family. We're blowing straws.
Mm.
Yep.
We stole this ship. Like he's
Yep.
just everything. He's just giving the other side of it too.
Yep.
Yeah,
That was just really nice. So yeah, I
Contorta, by the way.
yeah,
Contorta.
contorta,
Contorta.
which I thought was a really beautiful line. And when he talked about you're born wisdom of the pine, we're going to burn it, we're going to grow again through the fire,
Mm.
Yep.
and I was forging to be better people. So yeah, I really like that.
So what are we going to call it now? Is that a
I think we
thing?
just call it still Rossi, right? We still, from our perspective,
Yeah.
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 Okay.
That was a little sad when they were taking off the name and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
yeah. All right.
There's not a good diminutive for contorta.
I guess you just do a pine tree.
Corn? No, I mean
Yeah.
for us to call it.
Yeah.
Rossi is a good
Yeah,
nickname,
Rossi
but
is,
Yeah.
yeah.
The contortion.
Yeah.
The
Uh
tort,
crew,
the
crew
Conti.
is the crew is yeah, the
Conti.
Conti. The crew is
Conti.
contorting themselves into a new configuration.
Yep.
Ah, nice. All right, so let's go to Earth. Enright
Ugh.
is such a
Do
weasel.
you really want me to talk about this?
Mm.
I know we
He
have to.
he is manipulating the Secretary General. We got to go to war, got to go to war, got to war. And I can't help but see modern politics when I watch this.
Mm?
It is hard for me not to see, like in Wicked, at one point when they're laying out false stories, Linda whispers in my ear, Fox News.
Yep.
So
What about the animals?
yeah, and
Is it,
everything.
yeah.
Yeah, he pushes that Mars really, and even there's people there in the cabinet, the council saying, look, we got to get back on the table. We can try to do this. But from my perspective, Enright doesn't want peace because one, it's a distraction of the crap he's been doing, and other because he thinks this is going to better everything himself. And that was bad enough. But then he goes, and she was like a mother to me. I can't believe
Mm.
she's running a shadow government and doing that. Let's talk about Enright the Weasel. Karen.
Like I said,
Bing.
I couldn't have sworn any harder at him. This is the definition of a slime ball, right? And
And after they had that nice scene with his son.
just pure malevolence
Yep.
because it's against, you know,
CYA-ing. He is
yep,
CYA-ing big time.
yeah.
He's throwing all his chips into the pot on this. Yeah.
Yeah. And when he realizes that Christian is still out there, that she hasn't been quote unquote cleaned up, he decides to bring out all the shit that he's done and put it on her. And oh my God, I hate him so much. I want him to die so bad. And that I'm not that person. I'm really
We're
not.
talking fictional here.
Okay, good. That's bled over into real life every once in a while. But as you were talking about politics, hint, hint, I hate him. Oh my God, I hate him. He is, I'm wondering, and I understand his motivation, but what's the end point for him?
Earth rules.
Yeah, but I'm saying he's assuming he's not going to get found out, right?
Yep.
And part of me is saying, if you have ever read a book, watched a movie, anything, you're going to get your comeuppance. Someone's going to find out about it. There's so many people that know what you've been doing behind the scenes. Even Mao could come out and tattle on him. I'm not working with Christian. I was working with Aaron Wright. There's loose ends for him. And I can't help but think he's one of those people, and he's shown it through the whole time we've seen him. He is daft, to put it kindly. He's an idiot. He doesn't understand that his maneuvering is small potatoes compared to Christian. And if anyone can escape his machinations, it's Christian. Oh man, I hate him so much. Through the whole episode, I was thinking to myself, you cannot believe him. Please don't. The Secretary General. Please don't believe him. And it doesn't take a lot of convincing for him to switch over to take Christian into custody. I was buoyed a little bit when he said, you better have evidence if you are coming to me with these accusations. I thought maybe he'll resist a little bit. And then within 5 minutes, he's already taken the word of this one guy. Instead of doing an investigation, he is also an idiot. He should really know her character and the fact that maybe Aaron Wright is not a reliable narrator. So yeah, I'm so angry at the storyline, but I can't wait. I cannot wait for Christian to show up with evidence.
Yeah, and I think it is just you said it best, Lou. He's put all his chips, he's gone all in and just double or nothing, right? Like a gambling, just okay, this is only it's like when someone gets in a police chase. That just you should stop. You're not going to get away, but you just keep trying and trying. And so he keeps doing this. How about you, Lou?
Yeah, he's built himself quite the house of cards, so he just has to keep compounding his lies. And like Karen said, eventually at some point it's all going to come crashing down on him. But the alternative, and the show seems to have conveniently swept it under the carpet. He was supposed to be going before a tribunal or something and making a public statement about his culpability and what had been going on up until that point. And Karen said the fact that the Secretary under General Gillis doesn't seem to have any knowledge of that goings on as well is, I think, also another convenient plot point. But the show does more than a good play of fair play. You got to give them the occasional mulligan every once in a while. But I think some of the conveniences of keeping the Aaron Wright storyline going in, into the to where it is now make it worth it dramatically because it's forcing a confrontation between these two characters, Aaron Wright and Christian, that we're looking forward to seeing. And we know that Christian's got the communications log with Aaron Wright's message on it, and they've escaped on the racer that used to belong to Julie Mao, which is a nice, ironic, full circle kind of thing. And
Yep.
it's just a show as heroes are only as good as the villain. And for whatever we may think of him, I think the character that's playing Aaron Wright is doing a great job as playing the bad guy, Sean Doyle, who I think is a Canadian actor, probably not too recognizable outside of this series, though I've seen him in other things as well. He's one of those character actors that always plays a board member or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's right in line with what he's doing here, except this is a much bigger role for him. And I think that he's doing a really good job. And it's, yeah, it's propelling that storyline forward in and to the point where he's been able to convince Gillis to declare war. It's like I always every time we hear a declaration of war, it's always like I always think of that Star Trek original series episode Errand of Mercy, where the Federation announces that they're at war with the Klingon Empire, and Kirk says, "We didn't want it, but we're at war." And then Spock says, "It's funny how humans always seem to get the things that they don't want, don't
Yeah.
desire." So it's like the same thing that's going on here, but underlying it, and then this is going beyond what we were just talking about, that there's this underlying story engine of the protomolecule. And right now, I think the revelation from Holden that the protomolecule is communicating with itself across the solar system, that's a big thing. Though I'm surprised he didn't pick up the ping onto his ship, but maybe that's piece of protomolecule on the ship is too small to be worthy of or able to receive the communication. And it was super creepy to see that quick shot of the scientific vessel on Venus still suspended in the sky,
Yes.
all disassembled like that.
Yeah, that
Cool.
was yeah.
Incredibly cool.
Against the backdrop of this conventional conflict, you could say, that between Earth, Mars, and eventually the belt, I would say, you've got this underlying menace that nobody's paying attention to, or not, or they're not paying enough attention to, because it's climate change or whatever, because
Mm.
it's not something that you can immediately grab or relate to. It's too ephemeral at this point, but they should be worried about what's going on there. So I'm not going to say any more.
Uh, So give me your thoughts, Lou. I'm going to go with you first this time.
Ooh.
Fred Johnson
Ah,
and
yes.
drummer and all
Drama.
this going on, right? I have mixed emotions about this. I
So does
do,
drummer.
yeah,
Hmm.
I loved her scene. Can I finish my drink first?
Yeah.
The idea that is he doing this for the right things? Does he Belters to be a nation? So give me your thoughts on that storyline, Lou, and then we'll get Karen.
Yeah, it's paralleling the Holden Naomi relationship, right?
Yeah,
Except it's reversed in that the commanding officer is the one who's taking actions that the subordinate doesn't agree with, because she had to make a hard choice back in the day between him and Dawes, and she chose Fred because she thought his path forward was the future for the Belters. And now he's making, and as they say, politics makes strange bedfellows. He's making a deal with Dawes, which she
yeah,
says sees as a step backwards. And also that she's not naive about what the protomolecule is, a weapon. It's not going to remain a bargaining chip. It's going to be weaponized in some way, because that's what always happens with this kind of technology. So that she's it's just another a sub storyline that's mirroring the main storyline, but it's pretty cool because the personalities of the characters are different. And like drummer's a badass. You see her doing those pull-ups when she's got that bleeding cut on her abdomen and all that stuff.
yeah,
And she doesn't take shit. She's closest to Amos, I guess you could say, in personality.
yes,
So, but you imagine those two together? That would be interesting.
yeah,
Uh, but I guess it's more of a spat between those two. I don't think it's on the same moral level of conflict that it is between Naomi and Holden. And she's still loyal enough to Holden, or to Fred Johnson, that's going to do what he asks. And interestingly enough, she's going to go out and rescue the Nauvoo, which was originally set up as a ship of worship, I guess you could say, and now they're going to convert it
yeah.
into a
Worship.
military military asset for the belt. So that's an interesting turn of events, and we'll have to see how that plays out going forward.
Yeah, I did think that was a funny line. Okay, that's gonna be our, that. Karen, thoughts?
I'm assuming they're gonna snap that figurehead off of it, right? The
Yeah,
statue,
yeah,
the Mormon
We'll
statue.
have to see.
Yeah, that's nothing big. But
I
yeah,
just
I dig
surprised that they
her.
could recover it, because it just kept on going.
Yeah,
How far out is it
you
now?
would think
Yeah,
that it seems distances
manageable.
are not right. They're not really a big deal in the show, which
Maybe it only had enough fuel
I'm
to
okay
go
with.
as far as to the
It didn't need fuel.
hit the Eros. I
Didn't
needed
need,
to start. Yeah,
but now it's
yeah. Now it's just drifting.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
we
you know,
assume.
things in motion stay in motion, so it's going whatever speed it was.
Yeah, especially in space.
Yep, it's out there.
Yep.
And I'm surprised that she decided to go. I understand she feels indebted to him a little bit, and she's also a soldier, a good soldier. And I don't mean that in a military way, I mean
yeah,
as her rank. And she figures that, and she even says it to Fred, where this was the place I could go to make my mark, essentially, is what she's saying, right? And she couldn't do that under Dawes. It makes a ton of sense that Fred and Dawes are going to hook up again, because we know Dawes has the scientist, and that's going to be the key to figuring out how to weaponize the protomolecule. He's also the scientist, Cortazar, he's not going to have any reservations about making it into a weapon. He doesn't care what happens to it as long as he can manipulate it, as long as he finds out how it can work. So that's a recipe for disaster. Those two together, Dawes and Johnson, and using the protomolecule and the scientist. And then getting drummer to go out and get the Navoo. Wow, that's quite a move. And he's really banking on her loyalty at that point, and he uses it. He's weaponizing that against her. He's when they're at the bar and they're talking, there is a heavy conversation that they're having about, hey, you owe me. I would call it almost a guilt trip, right? And she has some leverage. I got shot for you. And she questions his motives several times. Why are you going to use this as a weapon? It's a terrible thing. We saw what happened. And Earth, they may not be able to, they may take you out. They're a big force. And she is very skeptical of their ability to do this. And we find out that even though we've had hints at it before, she and Dawes aren't on good terms at all, even though she worked for him. She was sent by Dawes to work with Johnson, but I'm assuming Dawes thought that she would come back to him at some point. And she's an asset to anyone. I think she's strong. She's a badass. I dig her a lot. And man, that scene where she's doing the sit-ups, the vertical sit-ups, and she's bleeding. She that's heaviness. That's badassery, definitely. And I like how when Fred says, yeah, Naomi gave it to us, and she's like, what a bitch. Under her breath, she calls her a bitch. That's pretty cool. She doesn't, like you said, her and
Especially since
Amos
she seemed to like her.
now sometimes you can call someone a bitch and I'd still spar with her if she came on board. But honestly, I think Naomi has really burnt some bridges here with everyone but Fred. And we know why that is true. And I'm, I just feel like Drummer is a force to be reckoned with. Now, her going to get the Navoo, I wonder if it's an opportunity for her and Naomi to team up, because I'm assuming that Naomi's going to get kicked off the Rossi. Again, it's just me assuming. I shouldn't assume, and I don't know if that's permanent or not, but her and Drummer teaming up, even if Drummer isn't a fan of hers right now, that makes sense to me. And Dawes and Johnson being in bed together makes sense to me. So, yeah.
That's that's an interesting thought. It makes sense if Naomi doesn't stick around, but I guess maybe I just don't want the band to break up. I
Same
think
here.
they have one good album left in them. I just know that somehow. Yeah, so that would be
Now,
great.
maybe, what is it? Distance makes the heart grow fonder.
Yeah.
Maybe if she gets kicked off, she'll do something to I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a whole nebulous thing that
Think
I have no idea
think
what's going
Harlequin romance stories.
Yeah,
on. Yeah.
exactly.
When's the
So,
last time you read a Harlequin?
Well, you don't have to read too many to know the general plot line
Yeah.
of a romance story.
all right. So let's get to the my favorite part is we're just having a blast with Bobbie, guitar, Christian, and now then Leo, right? No, what is that? Was it
Theo.
Ted? Theo, yeah.
Ted. Theo, yeah.
That was it just I love the thing about Bobbie just okay, I need to go do this. So I'm going to go do it. And oh, now I need to go do this. I'm going to do that. and plans changed. And the little discussion with her, and Christian just, you can't go. And you're like, yeah, whatever. Just anything
Yeah.
comes to the door, shoot.
Good
And
job.
yeah,
She
it
says
was.
good job to her. Yeah.
Yeah. And they just keep thinking what to do and where to go. And we end up two of them on a racer, two of them in a drop ship. I assume that's like a survival
Isn't
pod,
that what
like
they
a
came
escape
aboard
pod.
on? That's what
Uh,
they came aboard on, right? Or no?
Dropship. Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's the
All right.
same, I think it's the same vessel that you see sometimes landing on Earth outside of the United Nations building.
Okay.
Just drop ships.
Okay.
Yeah.
Karen, any
Yeah.
thoughts about the Great Escape,
Okay.
including going out and blasting a hole so that the ship can go?
Yeah.
And, yeah.
This was my favorite storyline of the episode. And who wouldn't make this their favorite storyline from this episode? I can't imagine. Bobbie is the star. And she had so many great lines. Man, yeah, punching a hole through the side of the ship. Fantastic. I loved when she goes to get Theo and Theo's, we made a deal. And she's, yeah, okay, whatever.
Deals
Things
changed.
change.
Yeah.
And he says something and she says, oh, what is it? He says something and she said, oh, and I thought about it the whole time. She's waxing poetic very sarcastically.
Yeah.
And Theo realizes I have no chance to go up
Yeah.
against this. I'll just help them out. And he even says, I was on your side.
Yeah.
And they're really pulling him in their direction. And he definitely doesn't want to help him out, right? And it's not that he doesn't want to, it's that he just wants to hide out.
Yeah.
And it's the best thing ever that they grabbed him because he would have died. With the missiles coming in, he wouldn't have known and he would have died. With his reward for helping him.
Yes.
I like that everywhere he turns, he gets shut down. Everything he does doesn't work. Every single thing.
Yeah.
And they're suspicious of him until he's, dude, I didn't do this. And when Kotiar realizes, oh, there's missiles coming in, Kotiar even says, yeah, that's what I would have done.
Yeah.
It's so great. The line where he says, good job, soldier. And she says, good job, spy. Fantastic line.
Yes.
And the way she talks to Christian is just fabulous. I love it. You could tell she has a grudging respect for her, but she still wants her to know, I know better than you right now.
Yeah.
When they get in the ship and she's take off the tinsel and do we need to have fashion tips? They're going to rip through you. So do what you want. She's just there's so many characters on this show that are, I would say drummer, Amos, and Bobbie. They're all very matter of fact. Bobbie knows best right now. So they're going to listen to her.
The name of a show.
Bobbie knows best.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does. And she takes action. It bites her in the ass a couple times. The scene, my legs were getting all tight when she was out on the hull and she lost her battery was dying. And I was like, oh, please grab on. I knew she would, but still.
Just by your fingertips.
Yeah, crazy. And she's right by where the rocket's firing.
Yeah.
And you got to love that suit. I hope she gets to keep that suit. She stows it on the Razorback. I really wonder, one of the things that I get off on these weird tangents, my OCD tangents in my head, where is Christian going to put her jewelry that's going to keep them safe from harming her? Is she going to put them in her pocket? Because that'll rip through her too, right? I mean, so maybe there's some place to stow them.
Yeah, probably.
That was my weird thought.
Yeah, I never thought about it until you brought it up.
And she's, let's get out of here. And Bobbie says, no, because then the rockets will lock onto us, which is incredibly smart. And Christian is still, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
And Bobbie, God, I love it. She says, hold on to your tits at one point, something like that, right?
Yes. Yes.
and then prepare for impact. And she's saying, look, deal with it or panic. I don't care. I'm gonna do what we need to do to get out of here. She now has this, I think her and Kotiar understand each other. She doesn't mince words when Christian says, do you think Kotiar made it off? And I'm sure he did. She has to just brush it aside. Let's worry about us right now. She's fantastic. And I thought I'm guessing he left immediately, but wouldn't it have been nice for him to be on the ship when it got blown up? And you have that thought of it's like the Death Star. There's some innocent people that got killed in those rockets, but yeah, I'm just going off on tangents. Bobbie was great. Christian was great in her own way when she
Yeah.
shoots Bobbie a million times, and fantastic. Kodiar again coming through for me as a great
Mhm.
guy. And Theo was the comic relief, but someone that they can count on right now to help them to try and help them at least. So let's see where that goes, right?
Yeah. Lou?
Just a trivia note for the listeners. The Gunya Shinyan is a Buddhist term. It translates to the one who perceives the sounds of the world. And it's also the Chinese goddess of mercy. So just throwing that out for you there. Yeah, this is a good example of how I like humor to be written into an episode. It feels very organic. It's not like a stop and take a wink moment. It just flows from within the action, and it's organic to the characters, the way they talk, the way they act. You could argue the tech engineer guy was a one-note comedy bell, but it worked well. I love the little bits like when Christian shoots at Bobbie when she comes back, and Bobbie says, "Good job." And Coach Harris says, "You're in charge of defense now," and things like that. And then
And she
she,
goes, you damn right I am. Yeah.
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 And then Christian jabs Coach Harris in the neck with the, I assume it was antibiotics. At first, I thought maybe it was a
Yeah.
stimulant or something, but according to the show notes here, it says it's an antibiotic and that. Just overall, just a well executed action scene with some great comedic beats. And I love the tie-in of having their escape ship be the Razorback,
Yeah, me.
which we've been aware of ever since season one. And Kochar and the Bobbie or the technician escape on the drop ship. Yeah, I wonder how both parties are going to make out, and hopefully they're all going to come out of it okay. But yeah, just a well executed scene. There's not, it's got a lot of good character beats, a lot of good comedic beats. Karen's covered off most of them, so I don't really have much else to add here, but it was a nice counterpoint to the sort of heaviness of the rest of the episode.
And that storyline was heavy too, but they managed to lighten it a little bit, so we're
Yeah,
not so tense.
more action adventure than
Yeah.
Yeah.
life or death, but that well done well. And the show just continues to excel with its special effects of the various spaceships and the space battle as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really, of course, just love the interactions of these three characters, fourth, if you include our kind of add-on. But just you have that not really Mission Impossible, but yes, it's action adventure. They're going through all this, going. Bobbie is just a badass. And I just think that was a blast. And I'm a little sad they're separated just because I think their interactions together, and they should be back together soon, hopefully. But yeah, I thought that was great. We also, the only thing we haven't covered, I don't think, is Alex's letter to his family.
Yeah.
Uh,
That was heavy.
yeah, Karen.
Yeah, I even mentioned this, I think, in the last discussion we had, is I would love to hear more about Alex's backstory.
Yeah, you did.
And so we got a little bit of that. It's essentially just expanding on what we already figured and what kind of we've taken from remarks that he's said, which are very few and far between. But hearing him It's like he's reflecting on himself because of all
Mhm.
the things that have happened. When you have a near-death experience, which he's had three or four of them by now, I feel like it's at that point when you want to resolve personal issues, and that's what he's doing here, apologizing to his ex and his kid and mentioning, hey, I guess I just wanted to be doing this more than I wanted to be with you, which is
Yeah.
really such an insightful realization that he's come to. So I thought it was really great that we get that little beat in this completely full episode, and it didn't feel extraneous. It didn't feel like, hey, we can lose that and it would be fine. I
Yeah.
think it was important to his story.
I agree. Lou?
Yeah, not much to add here.
Yeah.
I think he's thriving on the current situation, regardless of how dangerous it is, and it's brought him the realization that this is the life that he really wanted. He obviously had regrets that he didn't qualify for the Martian Navy, and but he couldn't put his finger on why he was the way he was and why he le had left his family until now. So that's a nice moment of self-revelation for him, and he's sorry for the way things are, but he's also at peace with his decisions that he's made.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Good. All right. Any final thoughts? What are we missing, Lou, that we should be catching?
I've already mentioned the never lose sight of the proto molecule. That's always important. There's a lot of moving pieces going on now, and we'll just have to see where everything lands. And the conflict between Earth and Mars is also something to keep an eye on.
Okay.
I feel showing us the position of the Arbogast and how it's all taken apart. I feel like that's a metaphor for what's happening to all the people on the show. They're all
Oh,
splitting
nice.
apart.
Nice. I like it.
I don't know whether they meant to do that or not, but I feel like it's
Who
a
knows? I
and
couldn't
fight
tell
or
you.
flight. I've heard fight or flight in that order, and I do think it's apropos for this episode. There's lots of fighting and there's lots of flighting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think the order is important, right? Because I think
Sure.
the initial reaction is to run.
Yeah.
The harder decision is to stay. But in this one, they've reversed the order. The decision to fight in this, to me, and like you just did with the Arbogast, maybe I'm reading too much into the title, but to me, what they're saying in this title is that the initial reaction is to fight, whereas the better reaction is might be to leave. But
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
It's true. Holden decides to fight instead of flight for what he believes in. And we have Christian
fly.
literally flighting,
Yeah.
and Kotiar as well,
Yeah.
which is essentially them fighting. It's both in that moment. So yeah, I feel like it's really apropos.
All right. I think that's going to wrap us up. And we'd love to hear what you guys think. We'd love some feedback. Karen, if someone wants to give
Uh,
us,
Ratings?
oh, ratings. Yes. Thank you. All right. Karen, what are you going to give this one?
I love this one. I'm gonna give it a 9.5. Hit your tits and pucker up. That's what she said. I looked it up.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that. Lou?
I'm gonna give it an 8.5 relaxing teas.
I'm sad about the coffee machine, by the way.
I am going to go 9 out of 10 broken coffee machines.
There you
So
go.
absolutely. Yeah.
Good job.
Hopefully there's another one somewhere,
Or
right?
they can fix it.
Yeah. Why did that coffee machine didn't do anything to him? Why you be very happy little
And he loves his coffee.
yes, he does. Just ain't fitting. Just ain't fitting. All right. Now then, Karen, if someone wants to reach us, how can they?
They can email us at jklmediareviews@gmail.com. I am at Aliveria on social media, Aleveria, and my blog is alistuff.com.
Lou?
You can find me on this YouTube channel, of course, JKLEL Media Reviews, where we're doing The Expanse and waiting for the return of Pluribus and Severance. On my own YouTube channel, Lou's Reviews, we've got our archived episodes of the Babylon 5 series, plus the animated movie. I also have my writer and podcast, interview podcast, as well as my Stephen King podcast. And on Twitter and X, you can find me at Lou W. Sitzma, Sytsma.
And I am at Jesse Jackson DFW on Twitter, X, Blue Sky, all the others. Please check it out. Follow us. You can hear me talk music on Set Lusting Bruce and on Perfectly Good Podcast. Coming up, Lou and Karen are going to join me on Perfectly Good Podcast. So I'm very happy that we are doing a special crossover. And I think that is it. I want to thank everyone for listening. Thank you, Lou. Thank you, Karen. Everyone, be safe and be kind, and we'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And scene.
The proceeding has been a JKL Media production.